Welcome everybody to another episode of B&B Hockey Talk, special Vancouver Canucks edition for this Friday, April the 5th. I'm the host, Aaron Bloxel, with my co-host, Mr. Matt Balzer. We're going to jump right into it, Matt. Canucks, the last three games, pull out a couple of victories and then a loss last night to the Nashville Predators, which is a good thing, I think, for our draft pick situation. But the awards came out the other night against San Jose after victory there. And let's touch on those awards. I found some of them were not so surprising, but a couple were.
Yeah. So I think I agreed with the majority of these, but yeah. So they had four awards that they announced throughout the night against the Sharks. The most exciting player, I think, no surprise, Elias Pettersson. Just crazy good rookie season. I'm not sure. I'll post it on our Facebook page, but he had in practice today, he had this crazy trick where he threw his stick up in the air with the puck, and I think it twirled around like a few times, and he caught his stick, and then the puck came down, and then he caught the puck with his stick before it hit the ice. I was just like, this crazy skill. I'll put that on our Facebook page. But yeah, just crazy good season.
That sounds like Robbie Schramp all over again.
Oh yeah. Well, I think every once in a while you get like those practice videos where the players will chuck the puck all the way up like towards like the ceiling or whatever, and they'll come down. They'll just catch it perfectly on their stick. I'm just like, it's just crazy skill level there. Yeah. Best defenseman, Alex Edler. I guess I think, well, for me, I would have gone Troy Stetcher just because I think
I think Stetcher was a close second, but Edler had a ton of points this year and just really provided some steadiness in the back end when he was in the lineup and healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like he's only played 55 games this year, but yeah, as you said, his offense has been good. 10 goals, 32 points in that time. It was sort of like last season where he had all those injuries sort of at the beginning of the season, and then the second half, I think he really took off. I remember off the top of my head from last season, I think in the last 41 games he had like 25 points or something like that. It was really good production. But that's just the thing. It's like you wish he'd be healthy more often. But hopefully next year that maybe they can help to limit his minutes a little bit with some of the depth coming up and younger players. The young son. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, and I think they will, because you got, if guys like Ben Hutton come back, you got guys like Hutton and Stetcher, you got guys like Quinn Hughes, who they can play a lot more. I mean, you saw Stetcher and Hutton playing 25 minutes a night some games, so they have that option, which is great. So.
Mm-hmm. It's just, I'm hoping they can add a couple more pieces through trades or free agency next year to help boost that depth too, because we just need healthy top six defensemen for the entire season, hopefully. The young sung hero, I think everybody's in agreement with this, Antoine Roussel.
Yes.
I think one of the intriguing free agent signings that Benning made this offseason. Had a great season, 31 points in 65 games, a career high for his career. And I think I've said it more. Well, for the majority of the year, I absolutely love Roussel, how he's able to get under players' skin and is able to produce some offense as well. And then the team MVP. This was a guy I was going for. I know some people are going to argue that Pettersson should have won this, but Jacob Markstrom was voted team MVP. I think since the start of December, he has a save percentage of .921, which is top 10 in the NHL.
Oh, he's clearly won and kept them in many games. I don't think there's any questioning that. I mean, Pettersson is the guy that I wanted to bring up today during the show. He got up to such a great start. He's been pretty much winner of the Calder Trophy since the puck dropped in September. It might be in jeopardy now, the way Jordan Binnington's been playing in St. Louis. But Pettersson's really tailed off in the last 20, 30 games here, point production-wise. Whereas at the beginning of the year, he's getting, 2, 3, 4 points every single game, it seemed like. Do you equate that to just the long season and him maybe not being used to that, or just the rookie just because there's no other league that plays this many games, right?
Yeah, because usually we see with rookies, there are only like a few that like can just like step in and just absolutely dominate for an entire season. And with Pettersson, like we saw in the first half, where he's actually unreal. But even though he has tailed off, I think I saw a stat. I think it was since from the beginning of January, he still leads all rookies in points in that time. So even though he has been quieting off in the second half of the season, he would still be leading all rookies in points in that time. So, but yeah, I think one of the things he said this offseason will be his conditioning. Will be up there at the top, and also working on getting faster and quicker out on the ice. So people always focus like on it's like, oh, he's too small, or he's not big or strong enough or whatever. But if he wants to get faster, it's about putting the muscles and strength into certain things or whatever. It's not just about getting bigger, because we saw like Besser at the beginning of this before this season. I think he was like in one of those interviews, he looked like twice the size of like Troy Stetcher or something like that, and we saw his slow start to the season before where he is now.
Well, if anything, Pettersson, from what we've learned from him, he's a super competitor. So I can see him being determined this offseason to come back way better next year. Let's talk about a few of their signings. They got a couple more university guys, and one of them actually, one of them got in a game yesterday. The 13th defenseman of the season.
Yeah.
But hey, I think it's great that they're able to attract some of these free agents out of university that may be an impact for not just maybe the Canucks in the future, but just even providing that depth in the farm.
Yeah, so they signed Brogan Rafferty out of Quinnipiac, out of the NCAA.
By the way, if you Google his name, type hockey after it. Otherwise, a serial killer comes up. It's a common name like John Smith, right?
Yeah. It's a weird name. So it's like, what are the chances of two people having the same name like that? But so this year for Quinnipiac, he had 4 goals and 24 points in 38 games. Real physical defenseman. I think one of my friends was showing me at lunch this one hit that he had this year. I think this one player, he was cutting through just across the offensive blue line with his head down into the middle, and he just laid the guy out with a clean body check. And I think the clip went for like another 15 seconds, and the guy was just laying motionless on the ice. Though he did have one nice, really, really good hit on Austin Watson, who's a really big boy or whatever. And all he did was brace himself, and Watson just bounced off and went flying off the ice. So, and he's a right-handed defenseman too, which the Canucks really need, because we got Jet Wu, Jalen Chatfield, like he's a righty, but it's not looking like he's going to be an NHL defenseman. But it is good to get some depth on that right-hand side of the back end.
Well, and we signed a goalie because rumor is the Canucks won't be re-signing Richard Bachman for the Utica Comets. And they're just looking forward to improving their depth, because obviously earlier this year we had to make the emergency call up to DiPietro. So tell us about the goalie and what his stats are like.
Yeah, so Jake Keeley was signed out of Clarkson University, also out of the NCAA. In 39 games, he went 26-11-2 with a .929 save percentage, a 1.91 goals against average, and 5 shutouts. Big goalie. I think the Canucks are really excited. I know Ian Clark, I think he said he was really excited to work with him. I believe he was he's up for the Mike Richter award, which is like one of the top goalie in college hockey or something like that.
Yeah.
On those lines. So I think they say that there might be a possibility that he might back up tomorrow, just to get him out, get him out and warm up or whatever, get him some NHL experience that way. But yeah, it's really good because like after the Michael DiPietro and all that bad fiasco with Jim Benning not wanting to make a trade or sign a goalie, it's just like because we saw that, and then he traded for Mazanik, and then I think a couple of days later he signed Michael Leighton. So it's just like, why couldn't you just do that right away? But at least it's another good young goalie, because we got DiPietro, we got Demko. It's always good to have depth.
Yeah. Well, they basically traded the draft pick they got from Anaheim from Mazanik. So that trade turns out to be Del Zotto straight up for Luke Shen. And I think right now, looking back, it's a great trade for the Canucks still, even though they don't have the draft pick anymore. So I'd take that any day of the week. Del Zotto, of course, on his way to the Stanley Cup playoffs with the St. Louis Blues now. But that should be interesting. Quinn Hughes finally made his long-awaited debut. We've already touched on that a little bit, but he's played 3 more games since, so 4 games now. He's got 3 assists. Do you see him being a number 1 defenseman next year with the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah, I think so. I think just a little bit, just in the couple of games that we've seen him, his offensive prowess is crazy good. I know defensively he still has a little ways to go. Because I think there was that one clip in the third period where Forsberg walked around him or whatever and went around the net and set up Yossi for a scoring chance, but Markstrom made a nice glove save there. But in the off season where you can look at video and having Troy Stetcher there, and another smaller defenseman that I look at is Jared Spurgeon with Minnesota. He's only like 5'9". Seeing how those smaller defensemen defend out on the ice will be huge. But offensively, he's gonna probably put up. I'm hoping 40 plus points next year, and get on that first power play unit.
I would say if he's on the first power play unit, I don't think 40 or 50 would be out of the question. And I can never get enough of the Besser, Pettersson, Quinn Hughes power or overtime line. It's just 2 games now we've seen it. 2 times they've just absolutely dominated, did everything but end the game.
Oh, it's just all the tape to tape passing. It's just like everything's just perfect. It's just like you just know it's like as soon as they step on the ice, it's just like what's going to happen sort of thing. It's just like I just want to see it. And that overtime in Dallas, that was 5 straight minutes of overtime. I think the only annoying thing was when Alex Edler wouldn't get off the ice. It's just like I don't want to see you, Edler, right now. Just get Hughes back out on the ice. But yeah, they're so fun to watch. Like the LA overtime. Like I think we touched on it last week. It's just they're just so fun to see together. And of course, like I want Hughes on that first power play unit right now. And I know Green had his comments sort of saying like he didn't want to make Hughes uncomfortable or whatever stepping into Alex Edler's first power play unit spot because for me it's. I think we brought up before the show. I'm just like it's 3 meaningless games or whatever when he said those comments earlier this week or some 3 or 4 games left in the season. We're out of the playoffs. It's just like what's the problem there? Just with giving him time with Pettersson and Besser and Horvat and all those guys in the first.
Well, we'll know next year. I mean, we know he's going to get his time next year. I don't have a problem with it. I know the kid's only played 4 games. He's going to get a ton of exhibition games, I'm sure, just to practice that. And next year, we're obviously really looking forward to that power play unit. And who knows what other changes the Canucks might make. I mean, we've got the draft lottery next week. They've said they're going to go aggressively after a couple of higher-end free agents this year, one up top, maybe in the top 6, and one on the back end. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And we don't know if the draft pick might even be in play, depending on where they're drafting and when, and maybe they'll make a move for a higher pick. So lots of different things can happen between now and next season. I've actually been impressed with, guys like Ryan Spooner even. I like his speed, and I think with an opportunity, he could be a nice 2nd or 3rd line guy. I don't know if he's a top 6, but I can see him being a 3rd line guy. But that's going to be tough to see what happens with the Canucks next year because of I think Virtanen and Roussel are also solid 3rd line guys. So it'll be interesting to see if they bring in any help for the top 6 for Pettersson and Horvat along the wings. You wanted to touch on Tanner Pearson because he's been playing fantastic for the Canucks. Why don't you touch on that, and then we'll get near the end here and end today's show.
Yeah. So Tanner Pearson, since getting traded to Vancouver, has 8 goals, 11 points in 18 games. He started to fit really well with Bo Horvat on a line, and they started to get some chemistry, which is really nice just for Bo's sake, just because he hasn't had consistent wingers for like the entire season. And to say that like Pearson with the 8 goals in 18 games, he had 0 goals in the first 17 games with the Los Angeles Kings. And he only had 9 goals in 44 games with the Penguins. So he's basically matched his goal output for the entire season before getting traded from Vancouver. So it's been really nice to see just a winger just come in and start to produce a little bit. And I like his size. So if he can sort of get back to like that 40-point pace that he was with Los Angeles, I think it could be a good trade for the Canucks.
Yeah, he was a 20 goal scorer too, if I'm not mistaken, with that 70s line in Los Angeles. So I'll leave you then with the final word to wrap up today's show.
Yeah, so I brought up the Quinn Hughes in the first power play unit. So he did have 2 power play assists in that Nashville game on the second unit. I saw this crazy stat that Jason Botchford put out. So for a power play unit that didn't have Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, and Bo Horvat in the previous 80 games, they had scored 5 total goals for the entire season if those 3 guys weren't on the power play unit. Hughes comes in and he sets up 2 goals in that Nashville game on the second unit, which I thought was just crazy. And also some Canuck news for the World Championships. Chris Tanev might be a possibility for playing for Team Canada, as Alain Vigneault will be the head coach. And it looks like Travis Green is a high possibility for being an assistant coach for Canada at the World Juniors. Quinn Hughes will be playing for Team USA at the Worlds. And Thatcher Demko is a high possibility also for playing for the U.S. And also 1 year ago today was the Sedin's final home game in Vancouver, where it still gives me chills just seeing that game and seeing the energy in the arena, because there's many games where it's really dead in that arena, and just the way the Sedins went out, it's still. Yeah, it's a storybook ending, and it still sucks because it's just like I would still like them on the team, and they could have probably still played this year, but yeah, 1 year ago today, the Sedins played their final home game.
Well, the Sedins will probably be making an appearance actually tonight at BC Place, where the Vancouver Whitecaps are playing the LA Galaxy, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic make an appearance. Of course, the most famous Swedish soccer player, and the Sedins, as you know, are huge soccer fans as well. So I'm sure they'll make an appearance there tonight. Remember to like and subscribe on our YouTube page where we record this show, as well as on our Facebook page, B&B Hockey Talk, where we also post all the highlights on our Facebook page. Stay tuned with us, and next week we'll have around the NHL Monday and Wednesdays. Playoff matchups will be ready, and of course, first round will most likely start on that Wednesday night. And then Friday we'll do a yearly wrap-up of our Vancouver Canucks show. And so you can comment below and let us know what you want to know. So I'm Aaron. He's Matt. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a great weekend.